Howdy y'all, Christi here with Little Salty Homesteader, and it is a beautiful day outside. So since it is so lovely, I'm actually going to do some real gardening instead of just talking about all the things I want to do this year. So I thought I would bring you guys along so you could kind of see what I do and how I do it. So today I'm actually going to be starting a few seeds. I had some tomatoes and peppers that didn't germinate, so I'm going to replant them, and then I'm also going to be cold stratifying some perennial flowers and some biennial hollyhocks. So I'm going to show you the process that I'm using for that this year. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm actually just like sitting on the ground on my patio. It's a beautiful day outside. I think it is currently 70 degrees, so it's absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, it's false spring essentially. We're still gonna get some colder weather, so I'm not doing too much planting directly outside. So yeah, more seed starting for indoors. Currently, what I have started is peppers, eggplant, lettuce, kohlrabi and rutabaga, and tomatoes. I think that's it. Lettuce. Yes, that's everything. Sorry, saw a squirrel. So that's everything that I have started inside, and like I said, there was some peppers and tomatoes that didn't germinate, so I'm going to replant those, and I'm actually using the smaller tray since there's 12 of those that I need to restart, so no need to use an entire 32 cell tray. It's just this clear little insert that fits into this tray, and it does have a humidity dome right here. So after I get it planted, I'll put the lid on it, and I'll still be able to place it on the heat mat. Hopefully these will germinate this time, and then the second tray is going to be done the same way. These are cold stratification seeds. So what that means is there are some varieties of plants that do require some chilling before they will sprout. In the wild, if they were to grow on their own, they would just receive that through the winter season, being outside, being exposed to cold rain, snow, sleet, ice, all of those things, the very cold temps. That would be the cold stratification. So that is what actually triggers the seed growth from within the plant. So it receives that cold chill period, and then it starts to warm up and reaches springtime soil temperatures, and then it should sprout and things will start happening, and then I'll be able to have some perennial flowers that I won't hopefully have to keep replanting. I don't want to get too overconfident here because this is my first time trying any of these. So the way that I'm going to actually cold stratify this year is I'm going to use the same tray with the same dome, and I'm going to go ahead and plant them directly in the soil, and then I'm going to put this in the refrigerator that I have in my garage. Now that's not a refrigerator that gets used we're not constantly opening and closing the door. We're not pulling milk out of it for breakfast and all of those things. It stores all of our extra beverages, and then if I have any like produce overflow. I'm going to set this on the shelf inside the fridge, and then I'm gonna leave it there probably 4 weeks or so, and then I'll pull it out, and then I will move it to my heat mats to sort of trigger that warmer soil, and hopefully things start sprouting, and then I have some wonderful perennial plants to transplant out here. Oh, and like I did mention, I have 2 varieties of biennial hollyhock. So what that means is on the second year they will flower, and then unfortunately after they flower they're done. They die off. So I'm actually going to flank the door of the greenhouse. I have a red variety and then a black variety. So I'm going to put one on each side. Right now I have really ugly buckets, but I'm going to put some nice pots that a friend of mine from the kids' school gave me over there for those. So let me just grab those seeds really quick, and we will talk about what didn't sprout as far as the peppers and tomatoes go, and then the perennial flowers and stuff that I'm growing. Okay, so I'm gonna start with these tomatoes and peppers. It's mostly peppers that didn't germinate, and most of the varieties that didn't germinate are hotter varieties. That is pretty typical, especially for the super hots that I have here, like the Scotch bonnet and the ghost pepper, and the cow horn is also quite feisty as far as spiciness levels go. As you can see behind me, that's peppers from last year. I haven't cut them down yet, but that's pretty typical for them to not germinate, you know, in a relatively quick period. I am still keeping that soil that they're in moist, hoping for the best, but I'm gonna go ahead and start some more just to be on the safe side. That way, hopefully I can have some of those super hots for my husband, because if you watched my garden goals video, you know I'm on the Operation Hiccups mission this year. So I have Scotch bonnet, and this is in a saved seed packet, so I don't have a picture of it. Scotch bonnet, and then purple beauty pepper. This is a very dark purple bell pepper. Originally the seeds that I planted for this came from my pawpaw. I think maybe they might be too old, because I planted 3 cells 2 different times and nothing germinated, so I'm gonna try my newer ones and see if I can get those to get rocking and rolling. But it's just a very beautiful purple bell pepper. And then Tabasco peppers. It's what Tabasco sauce is made from in Louisiana. There's like a whole Tabasco store in New Orleans. That's awesome. I actually like these fresh. They have like a nice fruity flavor. And then we have Hungarian wax peppers. These are like a hot banana pepper, really. I grew them last year. The plant did really well earlier in the season, and then it just got too hot. Right here, it got way too much sun, so I need to figure out some way to shade those or something. And then it just kind of fizzled out. Cow horn pepper. These I saved from my pawpaw's garden, 2021. The seeds did not sprout for me last year either, but they did the year before. Really bizarre. I'm gonna try again. I think I'm just gonna throw like 4 seeds in the cell and hope for the best. Then I have ghost pepper. These my mom sent me from my pawpaw. I actually don't know how old they are, so I'm gonna sow these pretty thick too within the cell, and then I'll just divide them out, give them away if somebody else feels like having burning poop at some point. I don't know. They're really hot. And then tomatoes, there's just 3 varieties. So Italian heirloom, this is one of my favorite like big tomatoes. It actually does okay here in Texas. Giant Syrian, this one does well in the Texas heat. It's also a bigger variety. Oxheart. And then Arkansas Traveler, it's just a red slicer that's supposed to be a little bit more heat tolerant. No tomato can really do well whenever it reaches 110, but these will at least get you into the 90-degree temps. So that is those replants, resows that I'm going to do. So what I'm using for soil is I'm using Fox Farm Ocean Forest. It is it is a bit on the expensive side. I still have this left from fall, so I didn't actually have to buy it this year. Whenever I start up potting, I may need to get something a little bit more affordable, because this is not the most inexpensive soil, but it is fantastic. It's really loose, it's really fluffy, it has a ton of like micronutrients and stuff that the plants absolutely love. My seedlings in there that did sprout are doing really well. So I will continue to use this for starting seeds just because it works so well for me. There are definitely more inexpensive options. You can get actual seed starting soil. It's not necessary. You can mix compost with peat moss and perlite and get something just equally nutritious and light and fluffy, and it'll be fantastic for you. I just need to grab my shovel out of my bucket and then we can get started. You guys were sitting on my bucket, so actually going to use my Hori because my shovel isn't in there. Remember when I said I was going to be more organized this year? That's really working out for me. Okay, so I'm gonna use my Hori as kind of a scoop for the soil. I'm just gonna fill this tray here. So I did actually have like a big soil scoop and then a bigger like hand shovel. Now all I have left is like the smaller hand shovel. Last year, last summer, my oldest son and I pulled out a bunch of like really ugly shrubs that we had in the front and replanted with some like Texas native type stuff, and trying to remove those broke my soil scoop and then my other shovel, so I just have the small one left and I need to replace it. If you want to make sure that nothing but like super duper light and fluffy stuff is in here, you can sift this. I don't have a sifter right now, so I'm not. If I see anything too big, I just pull it out and I chunk it out here in my flower bed here that I'm slowly amending. Let me go grab the watering can so that I could get some water in this soil. This watering can actually does have some rainwater in it that collected whenever it rained the other day. So that's going to add actually a little bit of soluble nitrogen into the soil, which is going to be great for these seeds once they sprout and they really start getting some good root growth to them. The initial sprouting, they don't need it, they don't need that boost, but it will help them as they start growing a little bit more. So I'm just going to water this soil pretty well, and then we're going to let that set for just a second. And I'm actually going to put just a little bit of water into this holding tray here, just to make sure that that soil stays super moist. All right. Then, because I like to pretend I have my caca together, I'm gonna go ahead and put all these tags into the slots, and then that will let me know where to plant each seed and also help me remember where each seed is planted. So the tomatoes are in the front and that's at the top here. So I'm just gonna take my pinky, just make a little divot into each cell, and then with the pepper and tomato seeds, you only need like a 1/4 inch. You only need to plant the seeds like a 1/4 inch, at the most 1/2 inch deep. Any deeper than that and the seed is going to require too much energy to get to the surface and it won't survive. It won't ever actually sprout. So there we go. Wipe my fingers a little bit. Just get these planted. Let me just tilt you guys down so you can watch that process happen. So we have Arkansas Traveler, which is gonna go here. this will get a dome. And then once I'm done planting everything, I will put that on a heat mat inside. Okay, so yes, once I get done planting everything, I'll put that on a heat mat inside. It's not gonna hurt anything to have it just right here hanging out. But let's talk about the stuff that I'm going to be cold stratifying, or i.e. starting in my refrigerator. Jake, if you see plants in the fridge, sorry, but also not. Okay, so I have several varieties of echinacea that I'm going to be starting. So I have just the regular purple coneflower echinacea. Coneflower is the common name. It is a medicinal herb. It's used a lot of times for coughs, I think. I'm growing it for this purple variety is native to Texas, so I'm growing it for the native pollinators. The rest of these I'm growing because they're pretty and they're perennial. So this one is green twister. This one is the Paradiso mix, so you can see it's a few different colors. And then we have a white swan. And then I am also growing Giardia. It has two L's, so I'm not sure if it's like pronounced like a Y or anyway. So double sunset for that, and then Indian blanket, and then goblin. So looking at this, you can kind of tell that that's one of your typical wildflowers that you see in the springtime here in Texas. I'm not sure which one of these. I think it's this one that is native to Texas. No, it's Indian blanket. That's native to Texas. So I am trying to introduce some native species here to help, like I said, the native pollinators that we have. The rest of these are for beauty, texture, different, adding different components to the garden to make it a little more interesting. The wind is blowing this stuff around. Okay, so echinacea, Giardia. Then the two biennial, like I said before, the dark red hollyhock and then the jet black hollyhock, and then lots of milkweed. Milkweed is what is the host plant for monarchs. I am making sure not to grow the tropical milkweed because that one is actually not good for them. All of these other varieties that I am growing is good for them. So we have just the regular butterfly milkweed that is pretty common across the country. Carmine rose, so this one is going to have little pink flowers. This one is just common milkweed, different from just this regular milkweed. Hello yellow milkweed. Showy is the last one that I have, so you can kind of see the different flowers on that. And then the last one that I am starting in the refrigerator is Black-Eyed Susan, or Rudbeckia is what its scientific name is, and I have 3 varieties of that. So I have Cherokee Sunset, and then Cherry Brandy, which I don't have a picture of, and then Sahara. I'm growing that one because I think it's so beautiful. But it's going to follow the same planting steps as the peppers and tomatoes. Only difference is this is going into the refrigerator and this is going, and the peppers and tomatoes are going onto a heat mat. So I'm going to, I think I need 2 trays because I have a lot going on. So I'm gonna fill 2 trays with some soil right here. Okay, 2 trays with soil. I'm gonna get it wet and then I will start planting. I'll be back with you once I have the soil ready to go. Come here. Okay. Sweet buddy. Sweet buddy. No, I don't want kisses. I don't want kisses. Thank you. Okay. Go lay down. Alright, so I have the soil all ready here. I went ahead and I filled up all the cells just in case I decide to plant a couple of cells with the same thing. So let me see how many tags I have, because I don't know. I'm just going to, I think I'm going to do 2 of the just regular purple echinacea, 1 green twister. Yeah, this will work. Double sunset. I'm going to do 2 Indian blanket, one of each hollyhock because I only have there we go. All right, so I'm just kind of winging it here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get these planted, and then I will show you where I'm going to put these in the fridge and where I'm going to put the pepper plants on the heat mat. Okay, so I haven't planted any of these before, so I am reading the plant directions on the back of the packets. These say to just press into the surface, so I'm sure that that is accurate for most of these. But I'll make sure to read the back of the seed packet, and I'll point out any sort of, you know, differences that I find here. Okay, so if you look on these lids, they have these vent dials where you can kind of decide how much you want to vent these. Since these are going into the refrigerator, I don't think that I really want to vent them a whole lot because I don't want them to dry out. And let's be real, I'm probably not going to remember to check them often enough, so I'm going to almost close these completely. And then this one, I'm going to open a slight bit more, but overall, like I said, I don't want this one to dry out either. Okay, these are in the refrigerator. They're on like the lowest shelf that is in here. This isn't a super big fridge, but they're on the lowest shelf in here. They're turned sideways so the door will close all the way, and then I still have room to put like the extra milk and stuff. Okay, so this is the heat mats that I use. Let me, it's much longer than these small trays, but it fits under these trays quite well, these 32 cell ones. But since I didn't do 32 full cells, this will work. And they have like a thermometer on them with a temperature probe. So I'm just going to stick this under here and then just into the soil here, and I'll put that lid back on, and then that's that. I'll kind of show you everything else here. Here's some peppers, lettuce. These guys are getting transplanted this weekend because they're super fluffy, but that's it. That's what I have. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me while I got some more seed starting done. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe and do all those fantastic YouTube-y things. It really helps me out. And continue to watch the journey as we grow this 2024 garden. I'm really excited for this year. I'm really excited to take you guys along, and hopefully we all have a successful year. But until next time, you guys find a way to get your hands dirty. Bye.